Titanoboa, a snake so massive the word snake barely covers it. 60 million years ago, this thing stretched 14 meters and weighed over a ton. Not a typo, 1 ton of pure serpent. Scientists found its vertebrae in a Colombian coal mine and initially thought they'd misidentified the fossils. They hadn't. This was real. It moved like a slow river of muscle through swamps, crushing crocodiles the way you'd crumple paper. No venom needed, just pressure. Enough pressure to collapse your ribcage before your brain registered the problem. But here's what nobody mentions. Titanoboa existed because the planet was hotter. Reptiles grow larger in warmer climates. Which means if Earth keeps warming, evolution is taking notes. That's not a metaphor. That's a warning dressed as biology. But a giant snake needs a giant enemy. Enter Deinosuchus. Deinosuchus. The name means terrible crocodile, which is either the most accurate or most understated name in paleontology. This wasn't a crocodile the way a nuclear bomb isn't a firecracker. 12 meters long. Bite force estimated around 100,000 newtons. Enough to punch through bone like wet cardboard. It lurked in the shallow coastlines of Cretaceous North America, waiting. Not charging, waiting. Because when you're that size, patience is a weapon. Dinosaurs came to drink. Deinosuchus came to eat dinosaurs. Fossils of hadrosaurs have been found with Deinosuchus bite marks. Clean, circular, final. It didn't chase. It just opened its mouth in the right place at the right time. Modern crocodiles are its distant, significantly smaller, significantly humbler descendants. Evolution gave them a fraction of the original's ambition. Speaking of ambition, one predator didn't need size. It needed loyalty. Direwolf. Not the Game of Thrones version. The real one, which was somehow scarier. Canis dirus. Roughly the size of a large modern wolf, but built differently. Heavier skull, wider jaw. Teeth designed specifically for crushing bone, not just slicing meat. It hunted megafauna across the Americas. Mammoths, giant ground sloths, horses. It didn't run prey down alone. It was coordinated. Thousands of direwolf fossils have been pulled from the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles, more than any other large mammal. Why so many in one place? Because they hunted in packs, followed prey into the tar, and got stuck together. Death as a team. Even extinction hit them collectively. When the megafauna disappeared, the direwolf had nothing left to eat. Its specialization was its downfall. Being perfect for one world made it useless in the next. But if the direwolf was evolution's pack hunter, Andrewsarchus was evolution's solo experiment gone completely wrong. Andrewsarchus. Nobody actually knows what this thing looked like from the neck down. Seriously, only a skull has ever been found, and that skull is 83 centimeters long. Just the skull. Wider than most humans are tall. Scientists believe it was a giant hoofed mammal, distantly related to hippos and whales, which raises more questions than it answers. What we know, it was enormous. What we suspect, it was a predator, possibly an opportunistic omnivore that could crush bone with a bite radius that made other carnivores reconsider their life choices. It roamed Eocene Mongolia 45 million years ago when mammals were still figuring out how large they were allowed to get. Andrewsarchus apparently decided the ceiling was optional. We named it after Roy Chapman Andrews, the explorer who inspired Indiana Jones. So the deadliest mammal skull ever found is connected to a fictional archaeologist with a whip. History is strange. History also produced a bird that shouldn't have been allowed to exist. Haast's eagle. New Zealand. No large predators for millions of years. Birds evolved without fear, some losing the ability to fly entirely. Then Haast's eagle arrived, or rather evolved, and it turned paradise into a hunting ground. Wingspan up to 3 meters. Talons the size of tiger claws. It targeted moa, flightless birds that stood 3 meters tall and weighed 250 kilos. The eagle would dive at 80 kilometers per hour, strike the pelvis, drive the talons through bone, and pin the moa before it processed what happened. The strike force has been compared to a concrete block dropped from a building. Maori legends described a giant bird called puaa that snatched humans. Scientists dismissed this as myth. Then they found evidence it likely happened. The eagle went extinct when humans hunted the moa to extinction. Remove the prey, lose the predator. Lesson never learned. From the sky to the deep, much deeper. Liopleurodon. The internet will tell you it was 25 meters long. The internet is wrong, but not entirely. Estimated between 6 and 10 meters, possibly larger based on fragmentary evidence. Even at the conservative estimate, it was a Jurassic nightmare. Not a dinosaur. A pliosaur. 4 massive flippers generate propulsion in every direction simultaneously. A skull nearly a quarter of its total body length. Jaws lined with teeth the size of daggers, designed to bite and twist, tearing chunks rather than piercing cleanly. It patrolled Jurassic seas the way apex predators patrol anything. Like nothing else matters because nothing else does. Its nostrils were positioned to detect blood concentration in water from enormous distances. It didn't search for prey, it triangulated it. The ocean gave it everything it needed. Then the ocean changed and Liopleurodon ran out of ocean. But before Liopleurodon, before anything with a spine ruled the seas, something else had already claimed them. Dunkleosteus. 360 million years ago, before sharks were sharks, before fish had evolved the designs we recognize today, Dunkleosteus was already there. Approximately 8 meters of armored fish that had replaced teeth entirely with self-sharpening bone blades. No enamel, no replacement cycle, just 2 interlocking bone plates that ground against each other with every bite, staying permanently sharp. Bite force over 6,000 newtons. Jaw speed 1/20th of a second, among the fastest in vertebrate history. It didn't bite prey, it opened its mouth and created suction powerful enough to pull prey inward before the jaws snapped shut. Passive aggression taken to its biological extreme. When Dunkleosteus vanished in the late Devonian extinction, it took half of all marine species with it. It wasn't just a predator, it was a pillar of its entire ecosystem. The ocean genuinely mourned it, structurally speaking. And now, the one that haunts human imagination most directly. Gigantopithecus, the largest primate that ever lived. 3 meters tall, standing, weighing an estimated 270 to 550 kilos, depending on which reconstruction you trust and how much you want to sleep tonight. It walked the forests of southern Asia for nearly 9 million years before vanishing around 300,000 years ago, which means it was alive while early Homo sapiens were developing. We may have seen it. We definitely feared it. It was almost certainly a herbivore, eating bamboo and forest plants, which makes the terror slightly embarrassing in hindsight. Still, 3 meters of muscle covered in thick primate fur, capable of displays of aggression that would register as geological events, is terrifying regardless of diet. Scientists only know it from teeth and jaw fragments, 4 specimens total. An animal that large, that recent, and that related to us essentially vanished without leaving a complete skeleton. Some researchers think habitat loss finished it. Others think we did. Either way, the largest ape ever built looked up one day at a rapidly changing world and didn't survive the update. None of them failed because they were weak. Every single one was the best version of itself that evolution could produce. They failed because the world stopped matching them. And somewhere in that pattern is a lesson that has nothing to do with prehistoric predators and everything to do with what's alive right now. Hit subscribe, because the next one is worse.